Howdy folks, welcome back to The Outpost. In today's video, I want to share with you some of the cool little finds that I acquired a few days ago while I was walking along the shores of Kentucky Lake. Unfortunately, here in western Kentucky today, it's down to about 30 degrees and the wind is howling through here. So in order for us to get top audio and video quality, we're going to move this video into the cabin. Now y'all know I enjoy the heck out of walking these local creeks for treasure and stuff. And in some of the videos that I put out, I've been criticized or told Tim that's nothing more than just creek rocks and all that other good garbage and stuff. But today, we're gonna put Google AI to the test and let you be the judge. Now as you can see, I have a number of items that I have laid out here on the table in size, shapes, and colors and all that other good stuff. And we'll take a look at them real quick. Then we're going to test everything and the theory of what I got through Google AI. Now we all know the most common thing that people are looking for when they're walking shores of the lake or in the creeks are Native American arrowheads. Y'all have heard me say in my videos before, you would be hard pressed, even in the area I'm in, which is so full and rich with history of Native American artifacts and stuff, to find a perfect arrowhead from that era and stuff like that. They're very, very hard to find. I've never really found one like you see the perfect little pictures of these arrowheads and everything like that. And I live in prime area and stuff like that. I truly believe though, we're gonna test Google AI on some of these things we found from the creek. We might be looking at stuff that is way older than any old little Native American arrowhead. All right, the first item is an obvious no-brainer. It's a piece of colored glass, smoothed out. Kind of looks a little bit like an old glass plate, but we're not going to speculate. Let's check Google AI. All right, got my trusty old iPhone. We're going to log into Google, take a picture of this blue glass that I just showed you, and see what Google has to say about it. All right, according to Google AI Overview, this item appears to be a piece of antique aquamarine colored slag glass, also known as cutlass glass. And it says significance, similar pieces have been found dating back to 19th century glassmaking booms. All right, next up we have what looks like a chunk off of an old plate or something. Let's check Google. Google says this item is a piece of sea pottery, like a shard from a vintage ceramic dish or container that has been smoothed by ocean waters. Significance, origin, often found on beaches representing remnants of historical household items. So y'all can see where we're going with this one, right? Google AI is not 100% accurate all the time. I understand that, okay? But it is one of the most helpful tools we these days in 2026 have to identify certain things that we just can't speculate about. All right, this time we're moving on to a few things that kind of look the same. Holes in rocks. Let's check Google out and find out exactly what these things represent. All right, Google AI states the items in the image appear to be small rock formations with holes, sometimes referred to as hagstones or witch stones. These types of stones are often naturally formed by water erosion, but are sometimes collected as curiosity or historical artifacts like loom weights. Also, it states the cultural significance is historically similar stones with holes have been used as weights for looms, fishing nets, or held cultural significance as protective charms. Y'all still think I'm full of crap? Some of these rocks that I pull out of these creeks along the shore of the lake and stuff like that? Better start thinking. You be the judge and let's allow Google to give us the best answer possible. Okay, let's move on to things that just kind of look like other rocks that are in the creek, as I show you here, and let's check Google. AI view. The item appears to be a specimen of petrified wood, which is a type of fossil formed when organic wood material is replaced by minerals over millions of years while retaining its original structure. Petrified wood, huh? I'm gonna agree with that. I had some petrified wood that I picked up in a forest when I was a kid that looked a lot like this, and I've got a lot of these little pieces. That's pretty darn cool. All right, it's time to get to the really, really good stuff. All this line here kind of looks a little bit like it might be an arrowhead or something like that. Let's figure it out and give it to Google. Let's check this little guy out first. All right, here we go. This item appears to be a prehistoric stone artifact, likely a lanceolate, projectile point, or a flake knife used for cutting or scraping. Exact identification requires geological analysis of the stones and archaeological context. What about this little guy right here? Let's find out. And Google says, this item appears to be a prehistoric stone arrowhead, commonly referred to as projectile point by archaeologists. You heard that right. Prehistoric stone arrowhead. None of this garbage about Native American arrowheads and the stuff that was here for the past 200, 300, 400 years, even up to 500 years ago and stuff. We're talking about things a lot older than you can even imagine. All right, we're going to take a look at one more of these. This little guy right here. And we're going to give Google one more shot and see if we're onto something. This item appears to be a weathered or water-worn arrowhead. Such artifacts are often made from chert, fine-grained rock valued for holding a sharp edge. The shape and condition suggest it was subject to natural erosion in a stream or similar environments. Different arrowhead shapes help identify specific time periods and tribal affinities. I can't make this stuff up, folks. Google AI is probably one of the most powerful tools that we have in 2026 to identify these types of items, outside of me taking them all down to the local university and putting them in the hands of geologists and archaeologists for proper analysis. All right, I promise this is the last one we're going to show you. This is a neat little skinny looking whatever. This appears to be a flint arrowhead, a type of projectile point crafted by knapping rocks. Historical significance. Items of this type are often identified as Neolithical artifacts, similar to those found in regions like Russia or even Egypt, dating back thousands of years. One of the biggest things to look for if you're looking for arrowheads is commonality of serrated edges, such as this. Yeah, see that? Look at the edges. I don't want to hear it's just from water wear. That used to be some sort of a weapon. All right, the evidence is on the table now. We've tested Google AI, which is not 100% accurate, but we have a pattern going, as you can see now. Some of these stones date way back further than you can even imagine. And most people look at them and they're like, that ain't nothing. They're looking for that perfect little arrowhead and stuff like that. Well, guess what? I might be full of crap, but then again, I might not be. That's going to do it for this one. Thanks so much for hanging out and watching me attempt to crack the archaeological myths when it comes to these rocks that I keep finding in local creeks as well along the shores of the lakes and stuff like that. Who knows how many different tribes used to run through this entire region thousands of years ago that nobody ever talks about because we're all caught up with these cool looking arrowheads from the Native American Indians. There are things that can't be explained. I think we got closer to what we wanted to hear and see without actual analysis from the professionals. That's what we got to work with. Got any comments, questions? Leave them down below. Until next time, I'll see you on the Outpost.